Claude Giroux joining us here on the podcast. First of all, congratulations. I know you've gotten a million texts and phone calls and all that, but add us to the list. Was it ever in doubt? I mean, we talked about it, when the season ended. Oh yeah, Giroux to Ottawa. That's the layup. That's the 2-foot putt. Was it?
No, it wasn't. When the season ended, I really liked it in Florida. It was a good time and we had a good team. And at the end of the day, it didn't work out for both sides. So it was time to look at other options, and Ottawa was always in the mix, but it's when I started really realizing about the team, the coaches, and being able to join a group that we can build together. Got me very excited, and obviously staying at home, it's definitely a plus, but I'd like to say it's not the reason I'm here. I'm here because I like the core group. I like the way the team was playing at the second half last year, how they took a step, and all those young guys, the way they play on the second half, that's what made me pretty excited.
Was there ever anywhere else you thought it might be?
To be honest, I've never been in this position before, and now going through it, I respect guys that go through it multiple times. It's a tough decision. There's a lot of pros and cons for all the scenarios, but when I was able to speak with Pierre and DJ, leaving those meetings made me really excited, and made me wanted to just jump on board.
Okay. I'm curious. Like in Ottawa last year, they were talking about it for months. Did anyone, did family ever say anything? Did anyone ever, while you were in Philly or in Florida, did anyone ever ask you, like your friends, family, did anyone ever bring it up to you?
No, not once. It's funny how it worked out. The day I signed, probably a week before, I was still looking at the option, what was going to happen. And I don't know, I just woke up one day and I'm like, I think this is what we're going to do. And the more and more we talked about it, and the more we looked at the pros and cons, there was a lot of pros. So, when it actually happened, it was very exciting.
How weird does it feel to be sitting there you were traded last year, but to start your season in anything but a Flyer logo? Yeah,
it's definitely weird. It's all I've ever knew. Played in Philly for a long time. I was, called Philly home for a lot of years, and a lot of great teammates and great relationships, like the GMs, and it was tough leaving when I went to Florida. But being here right now, being able to skate with the guys for 2 weeks and get to know the guys, I'm just more excited now.
This looks like it's a hand-in-glove relationship, and this looks like this Ottawa Senators team, certainly the top six, looks tremendous. You've played in the Metropolitan, you've played in the Atlantic, you've had a chance to play against the Ottawa Senators. I know this is a different composition now with the new players in, but what were your thoughts playing against Ottawa when you're either a Flyer or a Panther?
I hated it. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here too, is just when you play the Senators, they work hard, they compete, they play with passion, and starts with Brady. Brady is the captain, and the way he plays, you don't have a choice, but you have to play like him. You have to go out there and compete, and you're not there to make friends. And it's and when you play against a team like that it's going to be a hard night. You want to be part of that.
I had an interesting conversation with someone about you, and they talked about everybody's going to talk about Claude Giroux going to Ottawa because it's home for him, it's home for his family, and he's a scorer who can really add a lot to their offense. But what this guy said is what you're not going to see, and the biggest factor that Claude's going to have there, is that he's demanding. He doesn't show it publicly, but he's very demanding. This is a former teammate of yours. He said he learned at the feet of Chris Pronger, who was maybe the most demanding teammate ever. And he said that behind the scenes, Claude Giroux, and he says he'll never say it publicly, but behind the scenes, he's going to demand a lot of these young players. Is that a fair statement?
Well, I think as a teammate, you expect your teammates to play at their best ability, and sometimes when you see one of your teammates not playing the way he can, you're not going out there and start yelling at the guy. You try to work with him. You try to to see what he's thinking, and then you just kind of have a conversation about it. And I think a lot of players did that for me when I was younger, being able to find that sweet spot when you can play your best. Some nights you just won't have it, but how do you go through the game that you don't have it, and you make it a positive? You keep it simple. You start making the little details, and I was able to learn a lot from Chris Pronger and Danny Briere and Mike Richards, and having those guys being able to kind of teach me that at a really young age. I was able to kind of figure it out, because 82 games is a lot of games. You're not going to have it every night. But if you can make that one play, you can have that one good shift or to get momentum from your team. Those are just little details that makes a good team.
What makes you mad from a teammate?
Mad?
Yeah, like you said, you've got to be supportive. What makes you mad?
I hardly get mad at my teammates unless it's effort related, but it doesn't happen often. This is the NHL, the best league in the world, and if you're in the league, you're in the league for a reason. So effort is not always, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, that's usually what gets me pretty fired up.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about this season, because it looks like, we'll have our fingers crossed, it will be a normal season. Last year with, delays and the Olympic situation, it was kind of a normal season. It went on deeper into the summer than we're used to. This year should be normal. No bubble, no COVID shortened, none of that, we hope. How often do you think about, or do you even think about, okay, we haven't had a normal season for a long time here. How do I pace myself through this? Because, you're the veteran here. Like, you've done it. There's a lot of kids that haven't. How do you do it?
Well, I'm not pacing myself. First game starts, I'll be ready to go. And I think mentally it's more challenge mentally than physically. Off the ice, you take care of your body, you eat well, you sleep, all that stuff. But I think mentally, that's what's going to be the hardest part, to be able to, like I said, 82 games, it's more games than people think. It's when you play 4 games in 1 week, it definitely gets to you. And so, mentally, you just got to stay loose. Just have confidence in what you did in the summer, or is going to get you ready for the season, and you'll be able to go through the season.
I just wanted to ask you about Philly. Couturier, who you know really well, unfortunately, it just doesn't look good for him this year. It just seems like things in the last couple of years just went completely haywire there. With 2020 hindsight, Claude, do you have any theories on, why it kind of went that way?
No, I don't. But like last year, we start the season not bad, and then you lose Couturier, you lose Farabee, you lose Ellis, you lose Hayes. Those are your top guys, and when you lose those kinds of guys, it's hard to compete every night with teams that are healthy. So, and then one thing happened bad, and another thing, and it was kind of a nightmare of a season. It's kind of frustrating a little bit, because we did think we had a good team on paper, and if everybody was healthy, I think it would have been a different result. So it's definitely frustrating that my last year as a Flyer, that's how it was. So, but it's a great organization. Chuck Fletcher has been unbelievable to me, and Paul Holmgren and Bobby Clark, and everybody just they've been great to me since I'm 20 years old.
Final one for me, 2 lines: Stützle, Giroux, DeBrincat, Matthews, Marner, Bunting. Who outscores who?
Outscores?
Yeah.
Plus minus or outscores? That's different.
You can pick.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, come on. Give me a pick.
No, we'll wait and see.
That does wink at one thing, and we'll end on this one. What's the expectation this year from this group?
Since I'm here, I've been asked that question at least 10 times. At the end of the day, playoffs. I think that's every team's expectations, make the playoffs. You do that, you give yourself a chance. So, but saying that, knowing how young we are, how a lot of players haven't played with the players, chemistry is going to be very important early in the season. We get the chemistry early on in the season, and I think we can do some damage. But we're not going to be the best team on the second game of the season this year. We're going to have to keep working, keep building, work on our game, and it's going to be a process. But when we get to that point where we're going to feel comfortable in our game, have an identity, I think that's when we're going to be dangerous.
We wish you the best. Thanks so much for this.
Thanks,
Congrats
guys.
again.
Thank you.